This is a critical juncture for Bitcoin because the only time that Bitcoin's gone below this line, it capitulated hard and fast. Is hanging on a freaking cliff. Went down just like last time and then zoomed above. This is the next move I'm looking at. Look how price stayed in this channel. I think a capitulation event could be imminent.
You better get ready. It does not matter if there's a storm outside or there's a storm in the chart. Doesn't matter if you just got out of bed, don't even have your contacts in yet. You better get ready to get lit. Do you feel me? Are you ready? You need to start to stay up by hitting that like button like a hungry mad gorilla. We are going to make a storm out of these charts and we are going to dive in and make a splash. Are you ready to go live? Let's go.
I have on the daily chart. These two EMAs that you see here is called the EMA fill indicator. I have on the daily 21 and the daily 89. This part down here, see how this line essentially has other lines around it? Let me zoom in so you can see a little bit better. The master origin line, it's the most important line in all of Bitcoin history. Okay, it goes back about, out of the 12 years, I think it gets 10 years where it's the most important line. I have a trading channel set up, and what we're going to do is we're going to see how over time, I think it's three prior instances in all of Bitcoin history where this same EMA fill of the daily 21, daily 89, is approaching this master origin line. And you're going to see, these lines are all parallel, how price has interacted in this trading channel. So the blue lines are the trading channel around the master origin line, which is the gray one. And we're going to see some really interesting stuff. It's very important to take a look at this. Watch this. And again, this is the most important line in Bitcoin history. There really is not any. Way back here, when these EMAs flipped and price got close to it, you see how it interacted directly with this, see all this trading channel here? It got directly to it, and that was the bottom. Next bear market, the same EMA fill flipped red, and exactly when this EMA fill got up to this trading channel, in general terms, that was also the bottom. And after Bitcoin went from 3,200 to 14K, this flipped red again, it went to it, rallied, and then spilled below it. And we're going to zoom in here. We're going to zoom into each of these here in just a second. The EMA fill went red. It's approaching it. It's on the same line in the same trading channel. What is happening right now is literally the most important aspect of this is critical timing. This is a critical juncture for Bitcoin. Either this could be a macro low area or the shit's going to drop hard and there's going to be a capitulation, because the only time that Bitcoin's gone below this line, it capitulated hard and fast. Does it have to capitulate hard and fast the same way, or does it have to bounce exactly here? Could something else happen? Maybe. History doesn't have to repeat itself. However, history is all we have to base off of, and everything else is more, what ifs, right? But we can definitely see what has happened. And the history is pointing to the strong idea that this line is important, and because Bitcoin's on it and it's approaching it the same damn way, hopefully it's compelling that this is a critical moment. Either it's going to bounce and potentially be a macro low, or shit's going to go down real hard. And so that's why it's so important to analyze what has happened in the past and then make conjectures of, okay, what are we looking out for in general? If it's going to be a bounce, what are some things to look out for? What would be the general price paths and the general behavior of Bitcoin? If it's going to tank, in what ways would it tank, right? And so that's what we're going to do first. All right, so let's dive into this. Going back, this is 2015 here. As this EMA fill came, right around the trading channel, Bitcoin price went to the big drop, went straight to the bottom line of the channel, and then came into the channel, made another low, and then worked its way out of it. But look how, let me take off the channel, watch. Oh, that's taking off price. But specifically, after it came back down, it came above, just look at the behavior here. So the first one went to the bottom of the trading channel, had a bounce, came down again. It took 2 tries to get above, actually 3 tries. 1, 2, 3. It took 3 tries for price to get above this origin line again, which is key. So it did technically get rejected a lot. And in one of my recent analysis, I said that would maybe indicate that it's going to roll over. But in this case, I forgot to look back. In this case, it on the daily chart, so this took weeks. Look how long this took. So from the second time it went below it, watch, until it closed the candle above was 20 days. So that's 20 days hanging on a freaking cliff, riding this origin line. You see this? Okay, now let's go to current price before we check out the second one. Let's go to current price now, and let's look how similar that pattern is. Watch. Look, again, the first big drop. Remember in the past, it went straight to where? The bottom line. Then in the past, it went above the origin. So the origin line's the gray one. Went above the origin line, made another low. Bitcoin did not put in its time this time. So this time it's different. In that first example, then it rode this for 20 days, then broke above. So it put in its time in the past, respecting this line. This time, it went down to the same one, came above, went down just like last time, and then zoomed above. And it did not put the time in respecting this line. This was, kind of a bull trappy situation because this price went directly, it barely squeaked out highs above this local high. So this was, I don't know, this looks like a straight up trap to me. Like perhaps even an orchestrated type of one. I'm not for sure. Or Bitcoin just being tied to the stock market. That's how it happened. I'm not for sure. Now that we know it's different, what we're looking for is Bitcoin to put in some time on or just below this origin line here. And I don't know if it's completely likely that it's just going to crash from here. However, once we look at what happened in March 2020, you need to make the conjecture that it is possible. So a capitulation event could be imminent, as in early next month. I mean, hell, even late this month, it could get nasty. However, I don't think that's the most probable case right now. However, I would say that it's going to come up and test this line, and it might ride it for a while. I'm not for sure, but this is the next move I'm looking at is how price gets above here. Now let's put the EMA fill back on. I'm looking for price to try to get into this channel, and I don't know if Bitcoin is going to solidly get above this until this channel meets. So I think this channel is going to meet this line as price is coming up here. I don't see price just zooming back into it. All right, and that's one idea based off of how price interacted with it in the past. All right, now let's go not to coronavirus, but this one right here. So again, these are the same lines. They're all parallel. Take a look at how this channel came straight to the origin line and see how it's really fat here, and then it converged. So here, price behaved a little bit. So take a look at that channel, or that not channel, but the EMA fill. How it's fat and exactly at the origin line, it starts getting thinner. Like this is very, very important stuff to be looking at here. But Bitcoin behaved totally differently here. Even though it came to the same origin line, the same EMA fill came down, but it generally used the origin line as support. It only opened and closed 1, 2, 3, 4 candles below the entire time. This candle did not close below. It only opened below, right? So it opened and closed only 4 candles. Very different from the past, very different from right now. And it rode this line and came up. So we can essentially kind of take this out of play right now because Bitcoin's already opened and closed too many candles below. But looking at the EMA fill in general, look how price, before it decided to move up, look how price stayed in this channel. I mean, in this EMA fill. And look at when that big candle happened, right around the time it flipped. That might be another thing we might be looking for. It could go sideways and up in this trading channel until this EMA fill gets smaller and smaller. And that could create a big move up potentially. And these are things you can do on your chart as well. You would have to manually draw these origin lines, essentially connect current price to the lows of 2019 after it capitulated, and you roughly get the same thing, right? And then all of that should connect exactly to the capitulation event of the previous bear market as well. It'll all connect. All right, but the tricky thing is it's the second low. So it didn't get the first. It almost got the first low perfectly, but it got the second low. So it's the second low of 2015, the only capitulation of 2019 and current price. Just connect those. All right, so that was a little bit different. However, check this out though. This is why I think a capitulation event could be imminent. Look, watch what happened in 2019. The EMA fill got to the origin line. It went on a rally and flipped. So it flipped it. Okay, this turned green after this red stuff hit it, and then when price went below the green, it flipped back red, it capitulated. So red approaching origin line, it flipped it, price went back below it, and that was the capitulation event. Well, look what just happened. Look, even though I don't want to scare you, I personally don't know if that's going to happen, but so this price action here was not bullish enough to flip it, but it did come up and touch. I mean, just look. And again, on my channel, I was already saying that the daily 89s, like daily 89 and the monthly 10, which are both right here, were going to be the resistance, and that was right. But it rallied into it, tried to flip it, and price came back below it. So if it's anything similar to 2019, this would indicate we could be on the precipice of a freaking capitulation event. It's following very general rules. It's just that this pump right here of price was not strong enough to flip these bands green. But the general idea is the same. The red channel was approaching this, it pumped, it fell back below the channel, and you need to know that is a decent possibility. I'm not saying it's 50% probable or even 25% probable, but you should bet your bottom dollar it's double digits. I mean, it could be 20% probable that a capitulation event is on the horizon within 20 to 30 days, maybe, and perhaps even soon, because I mean it's at the same line. It's at the same area. Click this playlist right here if you're newer to crypto and you want to learn how to set up a chart like mine and or learn about basic buying and selling strategies that can help your crypto journey. Click this playlist right here if you're a little bit more intermediate and you want to understand how and why price moves the way it does. They're the most important videos I've ever made across the hundreds of videos I've made for YouTube. And click the circle in the middle if you're new to my channel. You just got Timified Worldwide. Peace!